Hello Reborners, my name is Karen and this is Making Reborn Dolls with Karen. We're back with little Presley. He's not perfect by any means. I stuffed his head a little more, it's feeling a little squishy. I'm getting a little bit worried about his head. Hopefully we can get through this painting process without too much trouble. You can see inside of his nose where I filled in the putty. It looks really bad. This is my first experience with putty, but it doesn't matter. I'm gonna love him anyway. Anyway, I'm very upset today. I found out my little ladybug got into a tussle with the pit bulls, and she has a hurt jaw. So she's back here with us, and she is emaciated. She can't eat very good. My son didn't want to tell me because he's afraid I'd worry. And he thought she'd just be okay and everything would just be fine and everything would just continue on as normal, but she's not fine. And it's the weekend and I can't get her to the vet until Monday, and I'm just beside myself. It's just disturbing me greatly. So I don't much do this, but I'm gonna ask for prayer for my little ladybug. She needs some prayer. Her little jaw is, I think, dislocated. My son said, oh, they were playing and she just snapped, the dog snapped at her, that's all, and she's got a sore jaw. That's what he told me. Okay, is she all right? Yeah, she's fine, he said. So, okay. So then, well, one thing led to the next, and I found out she's not really all that okay. And I don't know what to think or do. It's probably going to cost thousands of dollars to get her jaw fixed. I don't have that kind of money. I don't know what's going to happen. I am so upset. There's no way I can come up with that kind of money. There's just no way. Anyway, back to painting. I'm trying to put it out of my mind because it's making me so upset I nearly bust out in tears when I talk about it. I'm almost out of my 05. So I'm gonna throw this and this away. It's got sealer on it. Anyway, she's here with us now. She's back in my sister's room up on the bed with her. That's where she always liked to lay the most. And she's back there laying on the bed. Anyway, this is a super concentrated color of that. I'm gonna get a throwaway brush and I'm going to just put a little right here. You can just tell by the consistency if it's the right color or not. You just put a little on your paper towel like that, and you see, you can't tell it probably, but I can. All the paint thinner is leaching out very quickly because it's thin. When it's thicker, it takes longer. Here, this one is going to be so much darker. See how much darker that one is than that? Because this one is super concentrated, because I wanted to just pour a portion of it into my jar and dilute it down. First thing I'm gonna do though is take this jar and wipe it. There is too much on the rim. See, that just builds up there because you're always wiping your brush to get the excess off, and it makes your jar super dirty. And eventually it gets where you can't wipe anything off your brush because it's just getting this caked up form of it onto the brush. It's just worse and worse and worse and worse. And we don't want to get any of this inside the jar in the paint because it will make it have granules. Ick, look at that. It's so thick and globby and gross. So I'm gonna also get a Q-tip and clean up on these threads. See, this is what happens with your paint if you don't clean your jar. It gets very, very thick and you have this globby mess. And the best time to clean, well, a lot of people wait till their paint is completely gone. Like I can pour this right in here like that, and I can clean this jar really good now because I don't have to worry about anything getting in the paint from the jar, and I can get it super clean. In fact, sometimes I have taken the old jar and put it to the side, and later I have went and put it in some paint thinner and cleaned it real good and got it sparkling clean. But I'm not trying to do that this time. I'm just trying to get it a little bit better. It's super thick and almost like concentrated paint all over again. So I'm just gonna clean it up a bit here, best I can. And then we'll just move on. Like this. You clean the inside as well. And see, it just keeps your jar a little bit cleaner. Not that we're going to get every bit off. We're not going to probably ever do that unless we put it in the sink and wash it or something. But I'm not going to do that. So now we can pour some of this in here or all of this in here. We don't know just exactly how much color we have in this thing. And we can rinse out some of the rest of this out of here with some more paint thinner like this. Pour it in there like that. And then just cut it down some. What we're looking for is this color, not that color. And this may be too dark still. What we want to do is mix it up and test it out. Yeah, that's real close. Might be a little too light. So what we'll do is we'll let it sit on the table while we're doing other things, and it will separate. Some of the paint thinner will come to the top and some of the paint will go to the bottom. And then we can just pull off some of that paint thinner and it'll be a little bit darker. That's how you lighten and darken your paints. So we're going to get started on Presley here. He has a bit of a residue on him of paint sealer. A little bit of white, you can see it on him. It won't hurt him because as we're painting, the way to fix this is paint thinner. So the way to fix it, you can sit here and paint thinner on him and just wipe it. Or you can just paint him. Paint thinner's in every color of paint that you have. So it's going to get lighter and lighter as we're painting him and it'll disappear. Now, some people won't start with it like that, which is okay too. Whichever way you choose to do it, that's up to you. But you don't have to try to take it off if you don't want to. I'm going to put a little blue on his forehead because I like it. No other reason except blue is supposed to represent that the baby has thin skin. And if you ever look in the places where your skin is thin, you see veins. Well, babies have places that are so thin, you can see a lot of their blood under their skin, and it looks blue. And there's hardly any blue in this brush, so I'm sort of scrubbing it on his forehead a little bit just to get some on there. But this is completely dry, so I'm just going to dab it with that. We don't want to leave anything undabbed if we can help it because it gets crusty and thick and hard. And I'm going to get my veining pencil, and I'm going to give him a little vein coming down his forehead here and going over this way and going over this way. Because he is slightly, well, I need a sponge. Slightly a little bit wet from the paint that I just put on his forehead. This won't smudge quite as good as it usually does, which is fine. We want to be able to see it a little bit at least. We just don't want to see it real dark. When you're putting a vein on a baby, you have to remember the color of skin that's going on top of them is going to be, well, whatever you choose. But if it's a light-skinned baby, the lighter skin you're going to put on your baby, the less you want to be able to see that vein. Because darker skin colors are going to cover up the vein a lot better than the lighter skin colors. So you can see on this paint, it's already separating. There's about a half an inch of paint thinner on top. Oh, the smell over here is so strong. It's not paint thinner, it's this body. I sprayed it with some, what do you call that stuff? We're going to have dinner in just a little bit, Rich. Okay. It's, well, I don't even know where I put it. It don't matter. It's, It's Febreze, and it's a downy scent. And I sprayed this body so it would smell good. And I put way too much on it. I probably need to like try to tone it down or something, but I'm not going to do it right now because I'm busy doing this. Okay, I'm going to take my little pipette and my empty jar here, and I'm just going to very superficially stick this in the paint thinner and try to pull some of it off. And see, you can tell that's clear. It's just paint thinner. And as we do this, it's going to make the paint a little bit darker. We don't want to make it severely darker because we're back to where we were when we needed to cut it. But now if we pull too much off, we can always put it back in there. We're just pulling some off to give it a darker color so that we can make our paint the color that we actually want it to be. I'm going to mix it up now. Now, if we didn't pull enough off, we'll just wait another minute or two and it'll start to separate again. See, it's getting a little bit darker. I still want it just a tad darker than that. So I'm going to let it separate again and do it again. And while we're doing that, letting that happen, I'm going to be working on his arms and his legs. I'm going to give him a few little veins on his arms and his legs. We're going to put one right here on his wrist. We're going to rub it. You want one of these firmer sponges for the rubbing because the Swispers will just crumble almost. You'll get a few little rubs in, and then the next thing you know, it's crumbling. Now, when you're putting them here on the arms and the legs, you can put branches on them if you want, but you don't have to. I can still see some of the veining that whoever did this doll the first time put on him. So I only put some right there on his wrist. And the same thing on these legs. You can still see a lot of the veining on him, so I'm just putting them in the spots where I think that he needs them. And I just want to see some veining, that's all. I don't have to have super rich veining. Or see, he's still got a little color on him. I can still see a lot of veins going up and down his legs. So we're going to go with those veins mostly, and I'm just adding a few in some strategic little locations that I want to add them. That's all. I can still see veining on his head, which won't matter because I'm going to give him hair. You won't see any of that veining. I tend to be a kind of thick rooter. Did I bring Dominic in here? I did. I want to show y'all Dominic. This is the doll I'm making for Regina. He is so cute. I gave him blended hair. I got to brush his hair. I just messed it up. Let me get out this toothbrush. This is not the toothbrush that I stripped the doll with, by the way. Now, I did this hair 100% completely without any sort of a map. It is super cute hair. Baby hair. A thick, nice head of hair. And he has a crown. No, he doesn't have a swirl. I didn't make him into a cinnamon bun. I just gave him a crown. He has a crown right here on the back of his head. Everything comes to a point right there. And he has lovely, lovely hair that is a combination of honey blonde and really super light brown. I just took a piece of this bundle and a piece of this bundle and stuck them together and rooted his hair. So that's his hair. And let me show you some of his little features. He's got his little baby scratch. He has beautiful green sparkly eyes. Very nicely painted lips. He's very nicely blushed. He has a vein on his forehead. I can see it. I hope Regina can see it. It's very dim, but you can see it. And he's just cute. Now, here's his limbs up here on this. I've had him up here this whole time. He's got his glue on his rims. He's got nicely painted nails. They're tipped. You can see the veins in his legs. Very cute. Very, very, very cute. You can see the creases. Look at the creases on the bottom of his foot. They're just adorable. Now, here's one of his hands. He's got creases on his hands, in between his fingers. He's got these cute little nails, also creased. Also tipped. And he's got his veins in his arms as well. Now, later today, I'm going to stuff him and put him on his body. But I did not glue his hair. She asked me not to because she wants to root eyebrows and eyelashes. I don't root those. I don't do any good at them. She's going to help me learn, but I'm no good at it. So until I learn how, I'm not doing it. And so I asked her, do you want me to go on and glue his hair? And she said, no, I'll do it after I put his eyelashes and his eyebrows on. So he has not had his hair glued yet, but I did pull all the stuffing out of his head. As you know, I stuff with, I root with the stuffing in the head. And because it's so beneficial, I think, what happens is when you root a doll, part of the hair goes deep through the scalp and into the head. If you look inside the head, you would be able to see little hairs in there. It'd be super short. But anyway, when you have stuffing in the head, it tangles with that stuffing and it gives it greater stability. But because she's going to glue, I usually don't pull as much out as I pulled out this time, because when I glue, I want to be able to just put the glue in there, dibble it around with a cosmetic wedge on my hemostats, and get it all over the hair and the little thin layer of polyfill that I leave in there. And then that way, when the glue dries, it's combining that hair with that polyfill even stronger and making the hair glue in place at the same time. And then I stuff the head. But I didn't do that because she wants to root the eyelashes and the eyebrows first. So I just pulled out all the polyfill and untangled as much. What's left in there is slivers here and there. I was afraid I'd pull out too much hair if I pulled any more out. But I pulled it all away from, all the polyfill away from the hair, and then I stuffed it back in the head, the polyfill, so he'd have a nice round head when she sees him. Otherwise, in shipping it could collapse or something. So he is stuffed, but not the way he's going to be when she's finished with him. She'll probably weight his head. She likes a head. I think his head's heavy myself, but she likes a heavier head than that. So she'll probably put a little bag of glass in there, but I just wanted to show you Dominic. He's so cute. And he'll be going to his new mommy soon. After I get his clothes on him, I'll show him to you again. I'm going to get him all put together and dressed and everything. And then I'm going to show him off because he is so cute. Okay, anyway, back to Dominic. My wheel's in that rut again. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to just draw off a little bit more of this, you know what it is. It's paint thinner. I have to find my words sometimes. They don't come easily. There we go. And that's all I'm taking off right there, because I think that's plenty. It was almost dark enough. I just wanted it a tad darker. So we're going to go with that color right there. I'm going to put this lid back on because it is going to spill possibly. I always make marks on my, and I'm going to save this paint thinner. I have to search for every single word I say, and because I can use it to mix another color of paint or more of that color. Okay, he is back. So now I'm going to use my other pens. It is I'm looking for it. It is the henna. I'm going to have to order. This pencil's getting so short. I want to order before I really have to have it because I don't want to have to wait for it. And I'm just going to order 12 hennas. If you order 12 pencils, it's almost worth ordering from them, And the thing is I don't need any other colors. I have plenty of the colors you can get from Bountiful Baby. And if I had to, I could snag one up when they're on sale from them. Oh, look at that nice point. That's a great point. Look at that. But, and I have a 12-pack of, they accidentally sent the 12-pack of the veining pencils to me. what happened was is I made an order from them, and I ordered a lot of pencils. I ordered several different colors, several different numbers of pencils. Like in one color I might have ordered 2, and in another color just 1, like that. But what happened was they totally omitted my aquamarine pencils. And I sent them an email and said I didn't get my aquamarine pencils. Well, instead of just sending me the 2 or 3 I ordered, they sent me 12. So I don't know. I just got 12 of them all at one time. And so I don't need any aquamarine pencils. I only need the henna pencil. I don't need any hair colors. I got plenty of them that I had ordered before in Bountiful Baby. And I can get them from Jerry's Artorama as well, but I don't need any. But the thing is, it's not worth it to order the pencils if you have to pay. It's not worth it to get them for $1.39 instead of $2.69 if you have to pay $8 shipping on just one pencil. So I'm going to order 12 pencils because this color is the color I like to crease with. It puts the most realistic creases, I think, on a doll, and on a Caucasian doll, I think. I don't like purple. I don't like blue. I don't like red. This is a brownish red. It's called henna. I'm sure it has a pencil number. I hear Regina calling them out when she's doing her videos, but you know, handling this pencil so much, almost all the markings on it are gone. So I don't know the pencil number. Let's put it that way. It's faded out. And we're not expecting Presley to be a perfect doll by any means, because as you know, he's a strip. And when you strip a doll, you can keep on scrubbing and get every little speck of paint off. But I don't want that harsh of a strip. I wanted to just hurry up and do it. And I think I already took too long. Not that he's going to fall apart or anything, but you know, the longer you take to strip your doll, the actual harsher it is on the vinyl. And we still have to go through bakes and stuff, and you know, vinyl is not indestructible, and you could actually damage it. And so I just decided I'm going with what I have. I was going to just slap a couple layers of paint over his current color and go with that, but I just couldn't like it. So this is much, much, much better than what I had to begin with, so I'm not being picky. I'm just not going to be picky about the fact that he doesn't have every speck of paint off of him, because he's going to make a pretty baby for me. Now, if I was making him for somebody else, I probably wouldn't even do a strip for somebody else unless they said, I have this doll, will you strip it and paint it for me? I won't be picky, I won't complain, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, sure, I'll do it. But you know, I have painted other people's dolls for them. I used to do it all the time. Somebody would make a comment on Facebook or something about they got a doll and it looked like this or that, and I just volunteer to do it. They send me the doll, I'll fix it for you. This one lady, sweet old lady, she had bought this doll from this boy that he was Native American. He was on a reservation, and she went on the reservation, and they had like an arts and craft fair, and she bought this doll from him. She said he had made it himself. At least that's what he told her. He was a teenage boy, and the doll was extremely pale. It barely had any paint on it at all. I mean, literally no paint to speak of. And not only that, it was teddy bear weight. And when I got it, it was on the wrong body, so it didn't look right to begin with. It was on a very wrong body. I'm all the time putting dolls on alternate bodies, but this body was like, no. And anyway, I had some bodies because I was buying bodies and just saving them up like I do now. So I had some bodies in a drawer, so I was willing to take out a body, and I changed the body. First, I emptied the doll, and what was in it was squishy. It was super squishy, and hardly any polyfill. and it didn't weigh anything. So when I took the stuffing out of the arms, I felt something rattling around in there. And so I dumped it out, and it was rice. And I thought, rice? Of all the things you can stuff a doll with, why rice? And not only that, it wasn't even regular rice, it was minute rice. It looked like minute rice. And I go, okay, if that doll got wet, that rice is going to swell up, and it's going to be disgustingly gross. It's going to rot inside the doll. You don't want to put any food products in your doll or use them to make your doll. Some people use cornstarch to mat their doll, but I do not recommend that. Anything that is a food product has the potential of rotting on your doll. It's just not a good idea. And people are all up in the air about people using sand in their dolls because it can get wet. Well, glass gets wet too. I mean, I'm not advocating that you should use sand by any means. I'm just saying it's not as bad as rice. I mean, come on, rice can rot. Anything that can get wet in your doll, yes, it's bad. And yes, you shouldn't use sand in your dolls. You shouldn't, okay? That's a given. But if I was going to put something in my doll other than glass, I think it would have to be sand. I got some BBs, and I'm going to put it in Dominic, but it's going to be in his body. I wouldn't put anything metallic in the limbs, because if you've ever seen what metal can do to anything it lays against, it can make this, it can tarnish. Metal things tarnish, and it can cause tarnishment to get on the vinyl, and if it's on the inside, it can work its way to the outside. It literally can do that. So we don't want that on our doll, so I would never put it loose in the limbs. But inside the body, it's not going to touch any vinyl. It'll be inside of a stocking, so it won't hurt anything. And I did buy that whole little canister of BBs just so I could try it out. And here's the thing. To me, it's too expensive to use. He's got a little deficit on his heel there. And since I'm only just creasing, it won't hurt to go on and dab it up there. But it's too expensive, I think, to use the BBs. But I'm going to use them because I have them. But normally, I'm not going to get them anymore because I was already trying to even just justify getting some glass from Bountiful Baby. Bountiful Baby's glass, I found out, it's been so long since I bought any glass from Bountiful Baby, because I've been getting it from Harbor Freight for so long that I forgot what it's like from Bountiful Baby. I don't even remember. And it may not even be the same as it used to be. You know, they might have changed where they get their glass. I don't know where they get it. I'm sure they don't crush their own, so, you know, they don't actually produce it, you know what I mean? They just package it, and they put theirs in little 1-pound bags. So it's not real handy to have to cut open all those bags when you're trying to fill your doll. I have mine in a bucket. Here's my bucket. It's a big 5-gallon bucket. It's empty because, well, I don't have any glass. I just got my 2 50-pound boxes from Harbor Freight. And at Harbor Freight, you're going to pay about, well, it's $59.99, and you get 50 pounds. No, it's $69.99, excuse me. And you get 50 pounds. So it's a little over $1 a pound, which is a great price, I think. But now, if you're buying those BBs, it's over $3 a pound for those. I figured it up by weighing what was in that little container, and what did it cost, and how much would that be a pound, and blah, blah, blah. And it's too much. It's more. They're outside, I think, Cheryl. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm not going to be getting any more BBs. But I did get some glass when I ordered that kit bundle. Not a kit bundle. It was a beginner kit. they're different. The kit bundle is just the kit and plugs and rings and a body. And the beginner kit has all that stuff that I showed you on camera that one time. All kinds of paints and brushes and things are in there. And it's supposed to be everything you need to make that one doll that you got and some stuff left over. And one of the things they put in there was 4 pounds of glass. And I didn't pass it on in a gift box because it's too heavy. So I kept it. So I put it in, I just put the little plastic bags. There was 4 1-pound bags. I just put the little bags down in my bucket there and just left them there. And when I ran out of glass, I decided to use them, and I opened them up, and I noticed that they are very high quality. One thing about them is they're not as small and fine as the glass beads you get from Harbor Freight. Now, any glass beads will work as long as you're getting beads and not shards. You don't want the crushed glass. Crushed glass would be sharp, and it might cut through your vinyl. It would definitely cut through your little baggie you're making. But the glass from Bountiful Baby was bigger. It was bigger little marbles. They're like tiny little marbles. If you put them under a microscope or something, you'd see marbles. And the Harbor Freight's the same. They're glass beads as well.
Where's the coffee?
I don't know. They're super tiny is all I know. And they go through the stocking real easily. They even go through the trouser sock a little bit. But when I noticed the Bountiful Baby beads being larger, I immediately put some in a trouser sock, and not a bit came out of that one. So I said, well, you know what? Maybe it's worth it if it's on sale. Now, $2.99 a pound is still, that's what they charge regular price, and that's too expensive too. I can't pay that price for glass beads. But if you wait till they're on like a 40 or a 50% off sale, they might be affordable enough to get. So that's what I did. I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited. And finally, they went on sale. But the cheapest I've seen so far is $1.79 a pound, which that's not too bad, but it's not as cheap as you might like it to be. Let's put it that way. You could still wait and hope for a cheaper sale. Sometimes you get it. One time I bought magnets when they were on, I think, 40% off, and right after I bought them, they went to 50% off. There, he's creased now. I won't be creasing his head. I don't crease the face or the head because it's just ugly. And so he's looking kind of funny. That almost looks like a booger in his nose. I don't like that I filled it too much, but oh well, we're going to go with that. It was so jaggedy inside there, you had to put that much in. It wasn't any way I was going to be able to put less than that in there. So, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to take a brush now that his forehead has had time to dry. You can't even see that there's blue on there now. It's slightly blue. But anyway, I'm going to just blush him up a little bit. I usually start at the eyes, and I just lightly brush across their face like this. And I just brush all the way across their face. And what we're trying to do is get a pinkish look to their face. And one of the things we do not want to do is put pink on our doll. Do not mix up anything that looks like pink. Your paint should be a bloody red color. Bloody red. And we're just putting it on kind of mildly. Yes, we have to stroke a lot to get his entire cheeks and everything to be the color we want. So we're going to have to do some pouncing on this to get it back down to the lightness that we actually want it to be. This is very dark, and we don't want him this dark. I mean, we could do him this dark, but who wants their doll this dark? I don't. That is very dark. But never fear, we're going to pounce him a good bit and take off almost all the color. See, it's coming right off. You don't much have to worry about this blue coming off on the doll. It's not going to really. But just to be on the safe side, I always, well, I don't always because I'm not right now, but I usually pounce with a different side of the sponge so that I can not have any mixing of colors. If you're not getting the color you want, use your kabuki. The, the, the best thing about a kabuki is it swirls. You can swirl it around like this and it'll soften it up and spread it a little more than you're able to spread it with a sponge. Don't swirl too hard or you'll just take it all off. He's going to be a handsome little dude. Presley is a very, very sought after kit. He is long sold out. Like I said, he is the first Realborn they made, and he was limited edition. So, I don't know how many they made worldwide, but they don't usually make much. It might be somewhere between 700 and sometimes it's 400, 600. On some dolls, it's 1,500. And I guess on some other dolls, they might do higher. I don't know what his number was. At one time, you know, they had certificates of authenticity. This doll did not because he's a second. And they don't even count as part of the limited edition. So if they said 700 dolls worldwide, he wouldn't even count as one because he was a second. That's pretty good. I probably won't blush him any more than that because it's pretty dark. Now, if we still want to soften it up, we can rub it with the sponge. That will take some more off. But when you're rubbing, you're risking that you're going to take more off in some spots than you do other spots. It's going to be uneven maybe, something like that. So you want to be very, very careful with your rubbing. Okay, now we're going to do his ears. I like the ears to be a little bit redder. I don't do a lot of detail work on the ears because, well, you know, if you just red them up, you're not going to see it anyway. And, man, that smell of that body is so strong. I'm going to have to do something to tone it down. I thought it would dissipate most of the smell, so I sprayed it heavily. I wanted it to smell good when she got it. And I don't have any scent wafers, so I thought, well, what's the next best thing? How about a downy scent? You know, that downy smells really good, and a lot of people put it in their baby's clothes, not only just to soften them up, but to give them that sweet little baby smell. You know, when you pick up a baby and they just smell so sweet and good. A lot of people like that smell. And some people achieve it with baby powder. You know, Dreft has a sweet little baby smell too. But I don't have any Dreft either. I don't have any babies, so I didn't find, even when I had babies, that I wanted to use Dreft because it's way expensive to use, and it didn't really it's supposed to get out baby stains better, but it doesn't. Tide is the best thing for your baby's clothes. But Dreft is supposed to be gentle and stuff like that. I don't find it so. Dreft to me seems very detergent-y, and it has a harshness to it that, I don't know. I never liked it for my baby's clothes. They probably have liquid Dreft now, though. When my kids were little, virtually everybody was still using, not everybody, there was some liquids, I think, liquid detergents, not many though, but virtually everybody was still using powder. They were starting to have those little small boxes of powder, you know, instead of those great big ones you just measure with a measuring cup. They'd have a little scoop in it, and you just scoop out a certain amount, and after you used a certain number of boxes, you'd have so many scoops it was ridiculous. I actually wrote to the company and said, why so many scoops? Why not make it where you can pick up a scoop at the store if you need one, but you don't need to pick one up if you don't need one? Like, just let us buy a scoop. It would be a whole lot less garbage. You know, most everybody can save their scoop, and I don't like too much packaging. It's bad for our environment. And plus, it's a lot of things to just have to throw away. It fills up your garbage can quicker. I mean, good grief, you ought to see the amount of garbage we throw away now. It's ridiculous. But I just, you know, that was my suggestion. I don't want to take credit for all these suggestions. Maybe a lot of people suggested it, but it was right after that they started doing that. So I don't know. And I'm not taking credit for it by any means. Oh, that looks so bad in his nose. It's such a different color from the rest of his nose. I'm talking about that putty. I'm hoping I can get it to a color where it doesn't look that bad. He almost looks like he's got concrete in his nose. Okay, I'm done with that pencil. I can put that up. Now, on his hands and feet, I don't even know if there's enough blue on that brush to even put any blue on the bottom of his feet. So I'm going to do the pink right now, and then I'm probably going to have to do the blue with wet paint. I don't know for sure, but possibly. You know, when I got Presley sleeping, I thought he looked awesome. I thought this one looked horrible. That's just the difference in two different dolls. I couldn't make him look, even with the paint, I couldn't make him look a color that I thought I could live with. He was just too splotchy. And even though some of it came off, not enough of it came off. And I just thought, you know, I'll just wipe some acetone across him. Everything will be great. It's a little harder than you think to strip a doll. Okay, I'm going to tone down his feet a little. I don't really want them that red. But it doesn't hurt if they're kind of red. Babies have very red skin when they're born. And it's okay. Whatever color you like, that's the color you should go with. Now I'm going to do the tops of his toes because I like to do them as well. After a few more bakes, you won't even see this white residue on him anymore. It'll be gone because the paint thinner in the paint is going to tone it down. It's just going to go away. I've never had a problem with it in the past. You know, you put okay, I'm trying to call the name of it. You put the sealer on just a little bit too thick, and you let it dry, and it hazes over to a white, chalky look. Now, you can take a sponge, and you can put paint thinner on it and start trying to pull some of that off. But what you're going to do is pull too much off and have to start again. So I didn't do that. I just went on and put it in the oven and gave it its 2 bakes. And continued bakes will also help it go away. So he's going to get baked several more times before he's finished. So we don't have to worry about the residue on him. It's going to go down and it's going to be fine. So, yeah. Anyway, we're just going to continue on with him. We're already up to 42 minutes. I can't even believe that. What did I do for 42 minutes? Oh yeah, I veined him and creased him and all that. I can't believe I'm putting on this paint with his creases already on him. I don't usually do that. Talking will make you forget what you're doing. It really, really will. I usually just go on and bake them and then do the crease and then do the blushing because, well, I'm risking here that I'm just going to wash all this out of his crevices. So far, he's all right. But if I do, I'll just put it back on. Oops. I made a oopsie. Anyway. Yep. I'm saving the spot for the blue because I'm going to have to use wet blue because my brushes are too dry. I mean, they don't have any paint left in them. And when you don't have any paint left in your brushes, all you can do is dip them. And I need to be using them right now. So, wet it is. We're going to see the difference in wet and dry paint right now. Just as soon as I get done with these toes. Because we're going to do the blue on the bottom of his feet. And I'm going to dip my sponges. Let's get the blue out. Here's the blue. I'm going to get my brushes. Oh, can't reach anything. I'm going to have to put my table back the way I had it. I had moved things around because I was going to do that thing with my laptop, and the quality of the videos was so bad. Oh man, it was bad. Had waves of lines just running through the videos. It was horrible. I don't know why Regina is able to make such great videos with a laptop, and I can't do it. She must have a much better laptop than mine. My laptop, for one thing, is old. I think I got it in 2015 or 16, so it's an old one. And on top of that, it is probably a cheap one. I don't remember what I paid for it. I really don't. This is my red, blue, yellow sponge. That's what I usually do with my enhancements. I have one sponge that I use for everything. Like I said, it's not, see, I'm having to do it over and over because as soon as you dab it, the color just goes away because it soaks into here. I might just need to leave it like that, a little bit less dabbed, and let it go. Yeah, I probably bought a cheap tablet. I don't remember. It was such a long time ago because I didn't have a lot of money, and I just needed a tablet. At least I thought I did. Let's put it that way. Okay, that one's dipped. So I'm going to dip this one as well. These are my two blue sponges. Two blue paintbrushes. I only have two because I don't do much blue. I don't like put it all over the doll or anything like that. Blue makes a very shadowy look if you put paint over the top of it. If you leave it blue, it kind of mimics blood under the skin a little bit. But you have to be careful with your blue. We don't want a bruised or dead looking baby. And you can certainly get that. Okay, we're going to do the fingers. That's all I do on the hands is the fingers because it's cute. That's the only reason. I don't know that it gives any more realism than skin-colored fingers. Babies have reddish hands and reddish fingers anyway, but I just like it. That's why I do it. I just like the way it looks. I think it's cute. Now, is it completely accurate? Probably not. Oh well, I'm going with it anyway. I think it looks good on the babies, and people have commented that they liked it, though they liked the way I did the hands. They didn't say I liked the pink fingers or anything. They just said, oh, the hands are so cute or the feet are so cute, you know. People say things. Sometimes people, wherever you list your dolls, I list on eBay, but wherever you list your dolls, sometimes they have, people will message you. They'll ask you questions and they'll make comments. And sometimes they'll say, oh, that baby is so cute. I wish I could afford it. They're hoping you'll go down is what they're doing. And if you don't respond, they might send another message. I really love the way you did the hands and feet. I've been looking for a baby like that. But you know, I'm on a fixed income. They just tell you every sob story. And it might be true. I don't know. But if you can't afford my dolls, you shouldn't try to buy them. Yes, I am very charitable. But I like to pick who I'm charitable to. I don't like beggars and I don't like complainers. I don't like it when people try to pull one over on me, so to speak. There are times when I feel that something they said, which wasn't begging for a doll, was genuine, and I would offer them something. Here's an example. I sold a doll recently to a lady, and she told me that she was having surgery in the hospital, and it was going to be a lengthy surgery and a long recovery period. And she was a widow. Now, she wasn't asking me to send her anything free or even at a discount. She was just telling me. She bought the doll for the asking price, and I shipped it to her. But she just told me her story. That was all. I don't know why she did it, but she did it. But she never asked for any discount, any kind of shipping discount, or she didn't ask for a thing. And she bought the doll for the asking price. And I mailed it to her and she got it. Anyway, she told me that not only did she want the doll for a companion at the hospital, something she could have as she laid in the bed recovering. She was going to have a serious operation. She didn't go into detail as to what it was, but from what I understood, it might be heart surgery. And you know, there's a long, lengthy recovery period for heart surgery, I think. And so I thought, well, that might be it. And then she thought one day, you know, she's kind of elderly, and she thought one day she'd go to a nursing home and she'd also have her doll for that. And I thought it was sweet, and she bought the doll, and the only thing I did for her that she wasn't expecting was put a really, really cute outfit on it. I don't usually send my prop outfits, but she got a prop outfit. I hear my ladybug making that snorting sound she made. It's so nice to have her here. I'm so happy to have her here. She's so skinny. She's got to eat lots of food. We've been just putting food out and food out and food out for her to get some more weight. It's not that my son was neglecting her. She has a hurt jaw and she can't hardly eat. So we're making mushy stuff for her to eat. And I guess he thought she was eating, but I don't think she's eating because she's too skinny. But anyway, back to the lady with the doll. Anyway, she told me, well, I had my surgery. She got in touch with me because she wanted another doll. She wanted to buy another doll, and she was going, does this doll, you know, she's asking questions. Does this doll have this or that? She wanted to know things like, were they 3/4 or full limbs? You know, stuff like that. And I was answering her questions, and there was no problem. She wasn't asking for a thing, not a thing. But she told me I have to get me another doll because while I was at the hospital, I met this lady who was 94 years old and in much worse condition than me. And they had me walking up and down the hall after my surgery, and I'd pass her door. And I noticed that when people passed her door, she would ask them to come in and visit her. But nobody was going in to visit her. It was nurses and things, and they're busy. They can't really do that. And so she said I went in and visited her. And she just loved that I visited her. It was like I don't know if you've ever been to a nursing home where one of the residents wants to grab onto you and keep you there because they're so lonely they don't want you to leave. That sometimes happens. It doesn't happen as much as it used to. I remember going to the nursing home before and they just wouldn't let you go at all. I mean, I don't know why we were there, possibly a relative. It was back when we lived with our aunt. She'd go to the nursing home all the time. It must have been somebody in the family, but it was distant family and we didn't know who it was. She did, but I didn't. But anyway, she was like that. She wanted the lady to stay with her, and she couldn't do it. She had to go back to her room because she was a sick patient too. Anyway, she said one day when she was walking down the hall, she had her doll with her. And she went in and she visited the woman, and the woman wanted to hold the doll, and she held it and she loved it. And she just almost cried. She loved that doll so much. It was Spencer. If you've ever seen Spencer, I call him cute little chubby cheeks because he's got these cute little chubby cheeks. Anyway, she said, I felt so bad for the lady, I gave her the doll, which I thought was so incredibly charitable. Now, she didn't ask for a thing, not a thing from me. But she was just asking different, she was just telling me why she was buying another doll, you know. And she was asking different questions about the doll so she could zero in on the doll she wanted. One of the things she liked about Spencer was that he was 3/4, and he'd be softer up at the top of his arms and legs, and when she was like trying to cuddle him, he wouldn't feel as hard and crunchy. And that is one of the things that is good about 3/4 dolls. They do feel softer and they're cuddlier, but some people just can't get past that they have clothy limbs. For some reason, they feel like they don't want that doll because it has clothy limbs. But I don't find that to be a problem. One lady even asked me one time, why can't that doll just have full limbs? I said, what are you going to do, stare at it naked? She goes, no. I said, once you get the clothes on, you can't even hardly tell the difference. And she ended up buying a doll that was 3/4 limbs because she liked it. But this lady, she didn't ask me to do a thing for her, not a thing. She just was asking questions about the dolls so she could zero in on the doll she wanted. And she wanted Maven, and Maven is a very cute little doll. She's not a preemie per se, but she's smaller than the average doll. Average dolls are 18 to 20 inches. I think she's 17 inches. Maybe she could qualify as a small newborn or a larger preemie. But that's the one she wanted. And I just told her, you know what? I'm going to send you an offer and just accept it. And the offer was for $1. You can't sell through eBay for free. You have to charge something. eBay has to get their fees and stuff. So I just sent her, it weighed on my heart that I needed to help this woman. She didn't ask for it, but I did it. And that's the way I like to do my charitable things. The people that are weighed on my heart to help, I just feel like it's the Lord telling me to help that person. And I want to help them. But now, if they're asking, I feel like most of the time, I know the Bible says if someone asks, give it to them. But you know what? The people who ask for all these discounts, they want you to combine their shipping. They want you to go down to their certain price. They want you to wait till Friday and hold it for them. They ask all these things. And a lot of times, it doesn't even equal out into a purchase. It will turn into they ghost you. It's so frustrating. And sometimes, they're the ones who want to return items. I still have that woman hanging in limbo who is returning the dolls. I still do not have them back. Well, his nose is going to be funky. I'll be okay with him. He's fine. I love my dolls anyway. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it matters. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't matter. But it's not going to stop me from wanting Presley and loving him. But anyway, long story short, I felt the need to help this lady out. And so I did. And I just told her, I said, just accept the offer, okay? And she did. She was very gracious and very thankful, and it was a good experience. And that's the way I like to be charitable. Besides donating to nursing homes. Every kid in my family, well, not forevermore, because some of them are grown now, but all my nieces and nephews and my great nieces and nephews that wanted a doll have gotten a doll because I've made them one. Because I don't want anybody saying, oh, Aunt Karen didn't make me a doll. You know, I don't like disappointed children. And so everyone who wanted one got one. Even my grown-up niece, her dream baby was Darren. And she wanted a Darren. And she's a former reborn artist. I taught her to make dolls, and she made some of the most gorgeous dolls you ever saw. But she can't do it anymore because she has rheumatoid arthritis. And she was going, I sure wish I had me a Darren. I sure wish that before I stopped painting, I had made a Darren. Well, I made a Darren awake and Darren asleep as twins and sent them to her. And she's grown. She's almost the same age as my oldest son, who's in his 40s. And so, well, both of my sons are in their 40s, but my oldest son's turning 45, which means she's turning 44. So they are almost the same age. Anyway. She's got her Darren awake and her Darren asleep. I say there's no limit to, you can be 0 to 199 and still like dolls. And a lot of us do. And other people don't understand, and I say, well, that's their problem. They don't understand. Because everybody who loves dolls fully gets it. We're not crazy. We don't need psychiatric help. We don't need, people have said in posts in the doll group, yes, I collect dolls. That doesn't mean I want to come over and play dolls with your 6-year-old daughter or something. Or I don't need a social worker at my house. Or, they're trying to say it's normal to like dolls. And it is. It's normal. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing. People collect all kinds of things. Spoons, and nobody says somebody who collects spoons is unbalanced. Or they collect shot glasses, and they collect all kinds of things. Thimbles. Wherever they go, they'll get a thimble or whatever they collect, you know. I've known people who collect frogs, little ceramic frogs. Other people, turtles, elephants, all kinds of things. Nothing wrong with them, just us doll collectors. You know, we're crazy. We're just something mentally imbalanced. Something mentally imbalanced. That's my brother calling, and he's outside. Anyway, Presley's ready for the oven, so I'm just going to hang up quickly and say thank you for watching, and please like, subscribe, and share, and happy reborning.